Hi, today I have a message called All You Call Other. Alright, the first one is, it seems as though you have two choices available to you, the extension of love or the projection of fear. But only one of those choices is real. And we can feel when we've made the illusion real to us, or when we've made error or mistake real to us, because we feel it. Every time we feel it, feeling doesn't lie. So when I'm facing in the wrong direction, meaning the direction that's never going to give me anything real or truly satisfying or be helpful to me or anyone else, I feel it. And so the more I can get right down to the bottom of that and know that what that feeling means, the ego will tell me the feeling means that maybe I need to act right away or do or acquire or avoid or push away. And we're really used to trusting ego on that. So the more we start to value how we feel, the more we notice in different situations like, oh, this is a situation in which I should not act. I should reorient first and then be supplied from what we all share, from what all of us are. And then that will supply me fully in the way I need and the way that's helpful to me and everyone all at once. So we get more and more sensitive to these opportunities when, oh, I really do need to reorient instead of doing something first. We can afford to be really kind and gentle with ourselves and everybody, because where I didn't know I needed to reorient a month ago, now I do, and I stopped to do it. It's clear to me. Where I didn't know I needed to reorient last week or yesterday, now I do, because we only get more and more sensitive to how we're feeling. And now we know the reason for how we're feeling. It's because we're not oriented properly. It may seem to be because of fear we're projecting. And so we'll take that fear we're projecting and call it a separate and oppositional and potentially threatening thing, an unfortunate thing, a tragic thing. And then we'll say this is unfortunate and tragic and not wanted, and so I have to work to stop or avoid it, or to teach everybody about it. Full disclosure, I drank some soda before I made this recording, and now I'm experiencing the perceived cause and effect of bubbles. So there we go. Where was I? So the two choices are the extension of love or the projection of fear. So when I go in to be reoriented, I'm being oriented toward the extension of love, to come back into myself, which is everybody and everything all together. And from here, allow love to extend and trust in that extension. So more and more, we're all more aware that we can pause and stop and reorient. And that's the positive thing. We don't need to point to effects and results out there in the world before they become obvious to us. We might still be learning, but the fact that we hear the call to go within, and we do go within, and we do pay attention to what we are together, that's all the proof that we need right now. So the real choice, the extension of love, well, love is just what is all the time. So that's why it's the real choice. The unreal choice, the projection of fear, that couldn't ever happen. That's nightmare, that's feverish imagination, that's what's not possible. And I always feel when I'm engaging in what isn't possible. So more and more I get the message and I know what I need to do, which is not a doing in the world. Okay. Circumstances are apparent, meaning that they appear. So I might see a circumstance that seems to hold someone or something back, that seems to hurt or damage someone or something, and maybe that's me. But if we can think of it as it's an appearance, and what causes appearances? there are two things that cause appearances: fear and love. And none of it's anyone's fault, because there is no fault. But we have to reorient to cause and effect if we want to allow the benefit of what's here equally for everyone, what loves everyone and everything equally. To allow the shared benefit of that, we do need to reorient. So circumstances appear, and their cause could be fear, their cause could be love, and we know which one we're plugged into, pretending it's real fear or actually allowing love. And we don't reorient toward love by trying to do better as a person, by trying to be loving, by trying to be kind. That is the ego's trap, because the ego is going to judge you. You are loving enough. That guy is or isn't loving enough. You are or are not kind enough, or smart enough, or beautiful enough, or anything enough. That guy over there either is or isn't smart, beautiful, loving, kind enough. That's still within the ego's trap. But when you reorient to go back to your birthplace, where you were created as a being, that birthplace you share with everyone and everything, the true origin of everyone and everything, that just is love. And I find that by going back to that place and just resting there and just acknowledging it, then circumstances in time and space, that they can appear, they are allowed to appear. I let them appear. I didn't insist that the fearful circumstances appear. And this isn't about an ego deciding, I want to see thus and such a specific thing in time and space, so I'm going to focus really hard so I see and experience a specific thing that I think I want. It's about just going into love, knowing nothing, asking nothing particular, demanding nothing in particular. Just have the willingness to recognize yourself and everyone and everything as love in their birthplace, and have that moment of understanding, like, I really don't want to project fear on anyone or anything. That would be the wrong move. But to stay here in my birthplace, my shared birthplace with everyone and everything, and have the willingness to allow the extension of love, and to understand the extension of love makes appearances. I still seem to be in time and space. I still see things that are apparent. See things seem to appear or disappear. I can allow that to come from love. It's very, very different from an ego saying, you're being loving and kind, and that guy isn't. It's not that at all. That's ego's trap. And of course we want to be loving and kind, and of course we want others to be loving and kind to us, but that's also the ego's trap of victimhood. If I think there's a remote possibility that you, as the beautiful, loving, kind, eternal being you are, could ever be unkind or unloving in any way, I'm already projecting fear. I've engraved a possibility in you that what you're going to do is going to be painful to others. So when I remember to reorient and go back to the birthplace I share with you, where we're born as innocent beings together, out of love, out of joy, out of peace, and to know I honestly know nothing about time and space. I may seem to know. I get in there in time and space. I know how to drive a car. I seem to know facts. I seem to know who I am. I seem to know my name, my address. Fine. That's fine. Anything this character seems to know, she'll know. And same goes for you. But beyond that, should I try to control this as an ego? I can see that's a very bad idea now. Because attempt to control a separate one equals judgment of all the separate ones and separate things. And I can see now, oh dear, that comes from chaos. So I gotta go back to the birthplace I share with you and everyone and everything, and allow the extension of love from there. And that's a practice. And practice requires repetition. And when you go to practice something, like if I go to practice an instrument, I stop what I'm doing, I pick up the instrument, I do something else. So practice for now requires that we stop and we go and we do something else. We have to stop and, focus on that thing that's important. Okay, no one is circumscribed by apparent circumstances. So pick your favorite victim. Could be you, could be someone you call other, could be someone near, could be someone far. And sorry if I'm flippant by saying favorite victim. What we want is to restore the full awareness of love to everyone and everything, and we want to be together in joy. In our sane minds, that's what we love. So if there's something causing the appearance of pain for anyone, of course, we want to get to the cause of that and undo it. So I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. How do I allow it to be undone? Well, no one is circumscribed, meaning surrounded by, cut off from others by apparent circumstances. And it can seem that we have some very vivid images in our world of people suffering and cut off from resources and kindness and love that they actually need. And it may seem that other ones in the world are the special perpetrators, that they're the ones who are circumscribing them and cutting them off from what they need. And one person could think one group is the victims and the other is the villains, and another person could think the opposite and flip them. And absolutely none of that matters. The remembrance for us, which means we choose between miracles and murder. We can always choose between miracles and murder. Do we want to see the repetition of death and death and death, which we came here to see? We came here to identify with and as a body and essentially see that body destroyed and kind of trick ourselves that that's our identity. Or do we want to put down that original purpose we came here for and understand no one is circumscribed by apparent circumstances? Those circumstances are essentially nothing and very flexible. So if we choose the miracle instead of murder, we have no idea how things change, but we know that there are fleeting appearances. Things appear this way and then they appear that way. And if I, as a separate ego, am going to try to lay out, well, this is how they should appear. I'm going to create a utopian vision for my town or my home or my county or my state or my country or the world, and then I'm going to insist that this world or this country or this continent or this county or this home, however you want to envision your reach, I'm going to insist that all of it align with my utopian ideal. Boy, I've been through that. It doesn't, a memo or shortcut for you, it doesn't work. It's actually violence of the mind, engaged in constant judgment and fear and hatred. And all you're trying to do the whole time is make things better. But we're trying to make things better as a separate self that has circumscribed itself, cut itself off from the whole. And finally, thank goodness, I remembered I am with all of it. Anything I would call villain, anything I would call toxic, all of it, I'm with it, I am it. It's one. So what can I do except go to our original birthplace in innocence and wait there and rest there and allow the correction for what I've been seeing, which is what I have wanted to see, to be given to me. I say I was wrong. I thought the world was a certain way and that I had to fight against it or try to, take pleasure from it because that was all I was ever going to have. But now I remember the love I am, which fulfills me completely. And now I remember that what appears in the world, it can just very simply come from two places, and I get to choose. It can come from fear And I can feel when I'm projecting, that's any not good feeling I feel. And it can come from love. And this is very subtle. Even when I'm speaking these words, there's a remaining tension in me that I'm going to encounter today. I very much have to keep practicing. And that's okay. That's what time is for. Time is for learning and unlearning and allowing the undoing of what was never done. Because the crazy thing is the very worst things that we're experiencing and seeing never happened. Obviously, they seem to have happened because we're experiencing them in time and space. But if time and space came from one's imagination and never was, then it never was. And stopping during our day to go back to our shared birthplace and innocence and rest there for a moment and say, I have done this thing, I've imagined it, and it is this I would undo. And my character's not going to interfere in that. My character's, I'm me as I am. I'm not the character. I'm going to allow. That's very different from any of the struggles that we've oriented ourselves toward. So here's a place where we can go and rest and allow. Especially when we believe characters are circumscribed by circumstances. Because how can we serve those beings of light standing behind the characters who have never been harmed? We can go to our shared birthplace and tune into them as they are, not as they appear. And somehow that does release them. We free others and then we find ourselves freed. You free everybody and then you notice you're freed too. So it becomes very important to go within to our shared birthplace and allow. And remember, and then if there's anything for us to do in time and space, it will be two things. It will be obvious and it will be easy. And it's okay to have this period of time where it's not obvious and easy to provide help in the way you're used to your ego guilting or pressuring you to provide help. That is 100% fine. You kind of have to have this middle ground when you're transitioning over from, I'm going to show up as a guilty, fearful self and do what I can to help. And then this period of time where you seem to get in touch with the self you share with everybody, and the self that has no fear, the self has no fear. And to learn to allow that shared self to be in charge and to carry you, to guide you, to inspire you, and then you see the mirror image of everyone else you call else out there. They're being carried, they're loved, they're guided, they're inspired, they're in very good hands. That's really, really, really different from the ego's idea of helping. And it's okay to pause and take time to reorient toward actual help instead of guilty, fearful, panicky help. That's what time is for. Okay. So, after you reorient away from an ego thought, you can say, done, in recognition that the matter has been released to spirit. So this is what was really being emphasized to me. You release the matter to spirit, and then you have nothing more to say about it. It was just what the ego was saying anyhow. You took what the ego was saying about the matter, whatever it was, and these people are in a terrible circumstance, and you feel terrible about that. You take it to spirit and you release it to spirit and say, done. It's in spirit's hands. It doesn't mean you don't do anything physically. You don't know yet what inspiration will tell you to do. But you've given it to spirit. And then we reinforce our shared birthplace and innocence. Let me perceive no differences today. Everyone is, in their true being, light and love and innocence forever. And that's the one thing none of us can change about anybody else. And then we see all these different costumes in time and space, and our job is to not be fooled by those costumes. Those costumes, ego will send us a lot of thoughts about those different costumes separate ones seem to be wearing in time and space. And these thoughts the ego sends us will give us fleeting emotions. Happiness, sadness, boredom, fatigue, rage, depression, excitement, being thrilled. And all of this is ego's whole addictive scale. How do you know? Because it fizzles. It's a firework. And then over here, look at the sun. The sun, which is temporary, okay, but it's the best physical symbol I can find. The sun is of time and space. But it's a good physical pointer. And that never goes out. We might turn away from it at night, but the sun's always there. The sun's always shining. The sun is love. It's not fleeting. It's joy. It's not fleeting. It's peace. It's not fleeting. All the drugs the ego give us are, whether they're happy or sad, mad or glad, they're fireworks that fizzle. And we can be attracted to the pleasure and pain of that for a very long time. And I still am. And that's what a day is for. That's why I'm still here in time and space. I feel how it feels to be attracted to a firework, whether it's a positive or negative one. And I learned to turn toward the sun because the fireworks fizzle. They might distract me for a moment, but they fizzle. And I rest in the sunlight, and I know I don't know a single thing. But if I'm called to speak or act or think, there will be 2 characteristics of that. Maybe 3. Okay, there will be 3 characteristics of that. It will be natural, it will be obvious, and it will be easy. We may be so accustomed to making ourselves do things or allowing ourselves to be influenced to do things by someone who seems to be in one of these fleeting ego states. They're highly excited, they're super mad, they're very concerned, but whatever that state is, it passes away. It's fleeting. And that's our own mind sometimes. It might seem to be someone else influencing us. It might seem to be our own guilty, fearful mind, which is our false mind, which is really the part of mind that doesn't even exist. It's a dream. It's a phantom. But now here we turn toward the sun, and the sun is so big and so vast, and it doesn't judge any of the time-space happenings. But if we can orient our mind toward its power and its love and its gentleness and its kindness and its ability to manage our experience and its ability to arrange the seeming circumstances of time and space in a way that reminds us of how loved, innocent, and supported and kind all beings without exception are, of how generous all beings without exception are. And we can feel when we're making an exception. So that's our work today. Just reorient. And then say done, because we've released it to spirit. And then if there's something to do, we can do it. But it's much, much different than the guilty pressure to take a stance and to oppose someone or something that we're accustomed to. It's very different, and that's okay. These messages are like a wash cycle that assists you into settling into and staying in the sane same part of your mind you share with all you call others. So our real mind is shared, and it's a beautiful space. It's not a space where there are any judgments, especially for or especially against anyone. No one needs to be propped up in here. No one needs to be condemned or have their butt kissed in here. In here, we're all together as we are in oneness. And that's why our experience in here in our one shared mind, it's eternal. It's not fleeting. It's joy. It's peace. It's kindness. It's gentleness. And the more we can learn to rest right here and understand, thank goodness, everyone in their being is profoundly sane. And then as I turn toward this dream I have of time and space going on here, thank goodness the beingness behind everyone and everything is profoundly sane. And thank goodness every single one of us without exception has the ability to allow the sameness and the sanity and the goodness and the kindness of all of us to start to extend. Oh my goodness, can you imagine a power that big? A power that encompassing, that sweeping, that truly allows everyone and everything to show up as they truly are and always have been and always will be? As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. Can you imagine the power? That's yours. It's yours because it belongs to everyone. That's the only reason it's yours. We can't actually have a power that doesn't belong to everyone and everything equally. That's the impossibility. So here we actually are in the same part of our mind that we share with everyone, and it's not crowded in here. It's spacious, and there's no conflict in here, and there's no fear in here, and it's harmonic. That's why it's calm. And here's the source right here for any thought we need to have during the day, any action we need to perform, any word we need to say. And here's the source of the calm and the love for all our fellow beings, whether they appear as things or people or anything else. Here's the source of the actual love we have for them. Not a guilty love we're obligated to show or share. That's not love. We can let that disappear. Thank goodness. Because here we are in the mind all of us share. Eternally. We'll never be able to escape from this mind. And it's not limiting. It's unlimitedness. That's what we are. As love, we extend forever. And yeah, that's using time and space words, because that's all I have right now. Actually, I have everything real, but I'm pretending I don't. So I'm using words. And from this place we share, here's our supply point. Here we are together, where we can be supplied with any thought we need, any word we need, any action we need. And if we're ever in any confusion or distress, here's the place where we can return today. And the practice makes it real. In my experience, repeating over and over again this practice, whether it's through reorienting during the day or meditation, and you'll be guided toward what makes sense for you right now. It makes this shared, sane mind, this harmonic mind, a very real place to rest in. And to me, that's prayer. It's returning to our birthplace together in innocence and resting and acknowledging and allowing and saying thank you. I recognize who I was created to be. And if there's anything remaining for me to do in this world I'm dreaming, I'm in your hands entirely, because I know my character, my separate identity, doesn't have the foggiest idea. It was made to project fear. So now let it be the luminescent, transparent conduit. It matters not at all, the character, the body, however it's supposed to show up. Let it be the conduit for the love I rest in here, for the love I acknowledge here, for the relief I find in acknowledging that love, in being reunited with everyone and everything, and with what we all came from, with the love that is our source, that is eternity. Thank goodness we have a way of resting in this and sharing it, and then seemingly bringing it back with us and sharing it. And so today's just for practicing and for finding happiness and relief in the practice, because guaranteed all our happiness is in our sane, shared mind. And as we bring it back to the world we made, we'll find the happiness in the world, extending into the world, but not because of the world. It's because of our shared birthplace and innocence. That's our happiness. And we allow it to show up as appearances in the world. Why? Because we went back to the place, to acknowledge the place that we share with everyone and everything is our origin. And we kind of brought it back with us. All right, that's plenty for me to take in today. And I will keep practicing. Thank you. Wishing you well.